Yo, this shit OP.
Alright, let's see if everything works. How's it going, Gia?
I'm good, thanks, Francis. How are you?
Oh, I'm good too. Alright, I might look on my right because I'm looking at two screens right now, so I'm trying to make everything works here. Yeah, so how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good too. Yeah, you said it's a beautiful day outside, eh?
It is. It's lovely, for sure. Very nice.
It's incredible outside. Did you get wet outside, or did you have a chance to go outside and?
A little bit, not yet today, but going for walks at night and stuff is beautiful, for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's one nice thing about things being a little quieter is some free time in the evenings to enjoy the nice weather at least.
At least, what's the weather outside? Should be like 13 degrees.
Right.
Because I'm saying this because there's probably some people around like in Ottawa or elsewhere in Canada who are watching this, and I know my sister, she lives in Gatineau, and they had snow yesterday. So
Oh, they're lucky. It's usually us that has the bad luck.
oh yeah, but no, we're really lucky right now. So yeah, welcome everybody on that I would say first real podcast. Last week the podcast was more to introduce the new podcast we're going to do. I hope it's working. I hope everything is working good. I know that we already have the live comments on Facebook working. This is very good. And I don't know for the live reaction, so if somebody can do a thumbs up or a smile or anything on Facebook, and we'll see if it's working.
Only nice reactions, though. We don't want any mean ones. Like throwing a tomato or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see if it's gonna work. It's supposed to pop here on the window right here. So we'll see. Oh, there you go. All right. Oh no, we have a lot more. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being so active on the comments below. Yeah. So before we start this podcast today, I would like to mention that a couple stuff so you guys know how it's going to work. And we hope that we're not going to have any glitches, but we're using Zoom right now, so that that's pretty good with the Zoom. So when you're on Facebook, when you're watching this on Facebook right now, there is a delay of the real live podcast that's happening right now. So from the Zoom live podcast to the Facebook, there's probably like a 15 to 20 seconds delay. So it might sound weird, or your comment might not show up on the screen that you look, but it is in the comment below. So that's totally fine. It's just a delay every time of 15 to 20 seconds. Now, right now, you can see on the comments that we are inviting you guys to join us on Zoom, just to chat with us about everything. Actually, we're going to ask you guys how is it going right now in during that COVID time, during that quarantine, and also how's your family, how's everybody, and also if you do have any question about the topics today, that the topic that we're going to talk about today, feel free to ask us directly. So if you download the application below, the Zoom application, you will have it on your phone, laptop, on your on the thing you're going to choose, and you're gonna have to click on the meeting below, and then you'll be on the waiting list. That means we need to accept you to join us right now and talk to us. So just wait till we accept you guys, and we're gonna accept one person at a time, and we're gonna have a chat with you, and then we're going to switch to the next one. So just wait. So if you're using your phone, just leave it on the desk, and you'll be all right. When you're going to join us here in Zoom, you will have to unmute yourself and allow the video so we can see you and hear you. And the last point, I know that's a lot, but the last point would be when you're going to join us, have some headphones and mute your Facebook live feed, just because we're going to hear ourselves in loop, and it's not going to really be fun. So you can just join us with a headset, or just mute your Facebook, and we're going to be all right with that. So I hope that right now that you guys will participate, because that's something that we're kind of afraid of. We want a lot of participation and a lot of people who will join us. So yeah, already right now we have one person waiting, so that's pretty fun. So just wait, we'll be there. Whoops, I did a mistake. There you go. Sorry about that. Boom. All right, and if you do have questions and you don't want to join us here on Zoom, that's totally fine. Also, you can just leave your comment below in the chat, the chat room, and we will grab some question from time to time and just bring it up during the podcast. So yeah, I think we're set up. I don't think I forgot anything. Yeah, we got like 15 people right now live, so let's start that and see.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah. So today's topic is sedentary. So the sedentary behavior during the COVID might be a really something that people do more than normally because they're not working at home. When you're at home and not really working during the day, maybe one of your favorite activity would be gaming, Xbox, PlayStation, or anything, and you end up gaming the whole day, and you end up not being physically active differently than when you're at work. And when you're at work, you will be more physically active normally, depending on your type of work also. But yeah, the topic today of sedentary behavior will, it's not only for the COVID, but we just thought that it would be a good topic today to talk about it. So yeah, that's pretty nice. To start with, sedentary, that word comes from Latin, and it says sedentarius. Sorry about that. I was like buffling a little bit. Sedentarius means sitting. So it means I sit. And that's why we say sedentary behavior. It's when we are sitting. So we can have, like when we're cleaning, when we're doing the dishes or something like that, that is not a sedentary behavior. But when we are sitting at work, for example, or while gaming, that would be a sedentary behavior. It is actually the new smoking. I know that it could sound kind of weird, but yeah, today people are more sitting than standing, and we think that it's kind of like the new smoking, the problem that the society is having right now, and that causes a lot of problem, a lot of health problem. And what kind of health problem or consequences do you think, Gian, that the sedentary behavior can bring?
Well, I think first of all, a lot of us are worried that our clothes aren't going to fit when this is all over. The so-called quarantine 15. I think that's, one concern for sure. More seriously, however, the World Health Organization has determined that physical inactivity is the fourth leading risk factor for global mortality. So basically, we are sitting ourselves to death. So just a few physiological changes that come not being as active as we ought to be, or as we used to be, when we did more, technically more manual work. So one of the first things we see is a loss of muscle strength and flexibility. Typically speaking, when we adopt a sedentary lifestyle, we'll lose 1 to 3% of our muscle strength per day. Typically, we won't notice this in terms of affecting our function until about 2 to 3 weeks. And then that's when we really can see the consequences of that loss of muscle strength. In extreme cases, which I'm really predicting we're going to see with the COVID folks that are coming out of the ICU and whatnot, and in other rehab world, the research shows that in cases of extreme inactivity, such as complete bed rest, individuals will lose 50% of their muscle strength after 3 weeks. So that's pretty significant for sure. So Francis, what would you say is the most important muscle in the body?
The heart.
Well done. You're not an exercise physiologist for nothing. So the very first change that we tend to see when people become sedentary prior to the loss of muscle strength and muscle mass is actually inefficiencies of the cardiovascular system. So that's the first change. Because our heart is a muscle, if we fail to exercise it by failing to get our heart rate up, the heart will become more inefficient in the way it works. What that looks like is we'll end up with an increase in blood pressure, an increase in resting heart rate. And how that affects us functionally is things will become more difficult to do. Things that we used to be able to do with greater ease, climbing the stairs, vacuuming, doing our yard work, those will take us a lot more effort and energy and be a lot more challenging to do. The efficiency of our heart tends to decrease by 5% within the first 24 hours of being sedentary. So it's pretty significant. And within 3 to 4 weeks of sedentary behavior, the resting heart rate will increase by 4 to 15 beats per minute, just depending on your age and your pre-existing fitness level. So your heart has to work a lot harder just when you're sitting around if you haven't been doing much. In terms of the athletic population, one study I read showed that with athletes, the VO2 max gains that it took 2 months to make were lost in 1 month of being sedentary. So that 2-to-1 ratio, it's actually quite depressing. So we've got your musculoskeletal system takes a kicking, so does the heart and lungs. Another thing, kind of, in keeping more with my specific line of work, is joint stiffness and degeneration. So most of the joints in our bodies contain synovial fluid, and that fluid, it provides lubrication to the joint, and it also provides nutrition to the cartilage of the joint. A lot of the joint cartilage doesn't have a direct blood supply, so it relies on that joint fluid for its health. Movement and compression are what will help our body maintain synovial fluid or produce synovial fluid. So if a joint doesn't go through its full range of motion, the body's like, well, that's not being used, and stops the production of that joint fluid. That creates stiffness and early degeneration within the joint. And really, in life, this is one of the reasons why North Americans, or more the Western people, I guess, we tend to have a lot more issues with joint osteoarthritis, specifically hips. A lot of other countries in the developing world, they sit on the floors to eat. They don't have proper plumbing. So they're going into a full squat position all the time. We don't do that. You know, there are probably a lot of adults in North America who haven't gone beyond 90 degrees of hip flexion for years. And as a result, that's one of the reasons why, I mean, that and with weight problems, that we do have a higher incidence of osteoarthritis and joint replacement. Just some other kind of odds and ends. Metabolic syndromes are more common in sedentary folks with higher blood sugar, higher triglycerides, and cholesterol. There are definitely some mental health effects: anxiety, depression, and sleep disorders. The decrease in our blood circulation when we're inactive makes it harder for our happiness hormones, things like endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, to reach their receptors. So we don't have the benefit of those natural kind of boosters. Sedentary behavior is also linked to other pathologies such as cancer. Certain cancers are actually increased by 66% in sedentary people, so that's pretty significant. So in a nutshell, we are not meant to be sedentary, and there is a price to pay when we are not active enough. Yeah, for sure. As an exercise physiologist, what would you recommend? Like, what are kind of the movement recommendations that you guys give people?
Well, actually, I on the one thing that you said, I wanted to say also that yesterday I was watching another podcast in Quebec. It's Mike Ward podcast, and in this podcast, this guy is very well known in the French world, French Canadian world, and he was mentioning, like, I don't get it, like my dad used to smoke, used to drink a lot more than me, and he lived till the age of 95 or something like that, and like, I don't think I need to be physically active because I think I'm gonna outlive my dad. And what's really funny about that is people think like this. Like, I don't know if you heard a lot of people saying this, like, oh, my grandpa lived forever, and I'm just gonna live forever also, I don't need to be physically active. Like, that's the difference between our generation and the other generation, like the generation of our parents or grandparents. They didn't live in the same world. They didn't live with internet. They didn't live with Xbox, PlayStation like this. They live with growing on the farm, for example, and having a lot of chores that were physical. They were, like, always physically active. They were not really thinking that they were doing sports or physical activity. It was just a normal chore, or just a normal way of life. So that's why it was not really like a big problem to talk about sedentary behavior and saying what is the guidelines of physical activity. So that's probably one of the reasons why you never heard about it, or your parents or your grandparents didn't hear about the physical activity guidelines that we are talking these days. And that's kind of funny. When I bring that topic, actually, it is one of the recommendation of physical activity. It's the guidelines. And let me show you guys these guidelines. So let's switch screen. Here we go. So this is a website that you can go on. It's the CSEP website, and the CSEP, it's the organization, the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiologists organization. They are responsible to do the Canadian guidelines and of physical activity, and they do also the sedentary behavior and the sleep. I kind of like it. It's a really nice presentation, and if you go on their website, you'll see that it's very like friendly user. It's I kind of like it. What you can see here, it's like the bars, the green and the orange, the sleep. That is like, that's going to take most of your day, obviously, because you're going to take 8 hours normally of sleep, and then that little blue, dark blue, which is the screen time, or I would say more the sedentary time, you want to minimize this. So that's why the bar is like less big, and it does a big 4 thing because it's 4 aspect of your life. But the first one, by the way, it's the cardio, the heart rate, and then the second one would be more physically active, how to be standing and doing some stuff while standing. So to go on that website, you just need to write down CSEP guidelines on Google, and you'll end up right there. You can also end up on their website, their main page, and you'll see they do a lot of stuff. They even do like a podcast for high performance. So I kind of like that website. I always use that website to explain the physical activity guidelines. So if you go on that, the more you scroll down, the more you're going to have information. So it's for the whole population. So they're going to talk about toddlers, new baby born, to elder people. They're going to give the prescription for that. So as you can see here, the first 30 minutes that you see here, it's the amount of time that they would recommend, the tummy time that they recommend for infants not yet mobile. So if they can't really move, they recommend to be at least 30 minutes per day. This one here, it's 60 minutes of playtime for preschoolers and 60 minutes of playtime for toddlers to preschoolers and over 2 years old. So they just want you to make sure that your kids are moving enough. So that they start with that, which is kind of fun. After that, you can select the group of age that you want to have the information on it. So what's really interesting here, it's the 18 to 64 year old. If you click on the view guidelines, you're going to end up on the page of our clientele. So here you will have a lot of information. I'm not going to read all that, but what's really interesting here, it's these 3 things here. There's a little bit more below, but that's the guideline. The guideline here, it's not the same guideline as drinking alcohol or smoking or stuff like that, because drinking alcohol, we're going to say the most alcohol you're going to have, like they're going to tolerate per week, and it's not an objective. They don't recommend you to reach that goal every week, but it's the maximum amount. They're saying like don't go above this. But for physical activity, if you read the sentence here, you'll see that it says at least a minimum. So try to reach that minimum bar. So for example, the first one, it's going to be 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity per week. So that is about 20 minutes per day or 30 minutes per day if you do it 5 times a week. And you can even do it in bouts of 10 minutes or more. So for example, you don't need to have your sports shoes on, your shorts, your t-shirt, and then, okay, I'm ready to do PT. Ah, shoot, I don't have time today. I can't do my PT. That's not true. You can do PT just by making sure that you're walking a little bit further away to take the bus. If you take the bus at work, obviously here in Wainwright, that does not exist. But in the bigger city, yeah, you can take the bus to go at work. If that's the way that you want to go at work, actually, you can even like choose to take your station when you take the bus. You can take it a little bit further. You do a 10-minute walk to the next station, and then that's going to be a little bit more walk for you, and it's going to be a little bit more your aerobic intensity. So that is what it means right here. It's like 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity of physical activity, aerobic physical activity. So you'll see what I mean about that. They're going to talk about what is a moderate and what is a vigorous intensity. I'll get back to that. But this is your heart. So that's basically what you said, Gian. We're talking about the most important muscle in your body, and we're talking about the heart. The heart needs to pump, like make it pump. Like you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna be catching your breath. Well, that's good. That's what you want. That's the cardio part. The second part here, it's the muscles, the major group muscles. So they are recommending to do it at least 2 times per week. Obviously, you can do it more than that, but they are recommending to build muscles and also do some stretching. So the more you do that, the better it is. So that is the recommendation for this guideline. And the next one is more physical activity provides greater health benefits. So it means don't stop to the minimum. Try to reach your maximum. If you want to push your goal to the next level, go ahead and do it. For the military personnel, for example, for them, we are demanding them to be more fit than the general population because they have to be ready for any kind of tasking deployment. So that's why we are asking the military to be more physically active than this. So if they just reach the minimum recommendation, they might have some issues or having a hard time to just follow their brothers in the military. So we are recommending to do more than just the minimum. And this here, they're explaining what is the type of intensity they're using. So here it's it's good example. I don't really use that kind of examples, but for them the moderate intensity would be a brisk walk or a bike riding. And vigorous intensity would be jogging or cross-country skiing. Me, when I explain what kind of intensity you should have, it would be more the way you catch your breath. So when you're doing physical activity, if you feel your heart pumping, that's good. But also if you're doing physical activity with a friend and while you're doing it, you're catching your breath while talking to that person, well, that is a good intensity. That is at least a moderate intensity. So that's why when you do a brisk walk, so you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to miss the bus if I don't walk a little bit faster, you will be at the same level as I'm explaining right now. So because I'm pretty sure some people will comment that bike riding, they do a lot of bike riding and it's more vigorous than moderate. Obviously, it depends on what type of bike riding you do. If you bike ride with your family, maybe the level of intensity would be a little bit less intense. So, and I like this part here. They explain the health benefits of physical activity. Now, as you already said, Gian, they're gonna say a lot of benefits. Physical activity has a lot of benefits. It doesn't stop to only one or two things. You can have a lot of prevent cancer, prevent a lot of stuff. But here, the CSEP will really write down what is obvious, what is evidence, and we can see that it helps. You can have a lot of a good health benefits. So all the health benefits are written right here. And at the end they say it can lead to improved fitness, strength, and mental health. So obviously the more you do fitness, the more fit you're going to be, the more fit you're going to be depending on your goals and objective. So obviously if you do a lot of fitness, you may not feel that you're ready for an Ironman race, but that the goal is more like saying that you're going to be training towards that, so we can bring you to that objective if that was one of your goals. Yeah. So right now, I don't know if I have a problem because I think my camera just froze. Is it frozen on your side?
You're frozen. You're frozen on me. Yeah. Right?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody can see a beautiful picture of me of 10 years ago. I'm coming back on the screen. No? Okay, well, to continue, I'll fix my camera while I'm going to ask you this question. So, Jim, what do you think? Why would you say that sitting is bad for you?
Well, I think for a lot of us, myself included, one big problem is the more we sit, the more we eat. So we end up with that whole situation being kind of imbalanced. It's a bit of a dangerous game. In terms of, from a musculoskeletal perspective, one of the reasons, there you're back, one of the reasons that prolonged sitting is really not ideal is that we tend to sit with our lower backs in a flexed or rounded position. The normal alignment or the optimal alignment of the spine, I think you can probably see this just behind me here. I'm just going to turn him.
Yeah.
So you see how his lower back is arched forward. So we call that a lumbar lordosis. or a lumbar extension. So that's the optimal position of the spine. When we sit, we do not tend to do that. We tend to reverse that curvature, and that sets us up for problems. And because, for that reason, that's one of the reasons that lumbar supports, in vehicles or whatnot, or Orbiscom or what have you, can be really useful because it helps us to maintain that more optimal curve. When we reverse that lordosis in sitting and go into a more flexed position, we end up putting pressure, abnormal load, through the front or anterior part of the disc. So instead of our weight being distributed evenly through the disc, we end up putting more pressure through the front, and that can create bulging to the back. And that often will lead to things like sciatica, chronic low back pain, and whatnot. So for people who have a history of back problems, particularly disc disorders, prolonged sitting can be a very, very bad thing. Do you have those pictures, Francis? Are you able to put them up?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, perfect. If you want to put the kind of bad sitting posture one.
There you go. They see it now. Yeah, they see it.
Okay. There you go. All right. So you can see in the poor sitting posture, the lower lumbar curve is really flattened. So then what we often tend to do as a result of that is we'll round our shoulders forwards, the curvature in the middle part of our spines increase in deflection. And then to avoid looking down at the floor, we'll poke our chins forward. So we end up with this forward head, rounded shouldered posture, and then in lumbar flexion. And that can create all kinds of grief with our necks, with our backs, with our shoulders even. So also, with prolonged sitting, our hips are in flexion, our knees are flexed, and so the muscles that are in the front part of the hip and the back part of the knee, they'll often end up tightening, and tight hamstrings, tight hip flexors, that kind of thing. Or it can often result from too much sedentary behavior or lack thereof. So a couple little tips just for sitting. When you sit, try to sit that your backside as far back in the chair as you can. That's a good foundation for sitting. If your rear end's a little bit more forward than it should be, that's going to really facilitate a posterior pelvic tilt around your spine. So if when you sit, you have your rear end back as far as you can, that will help facilitate that lordosis that we want. I also encourage people, try to stand every 20 to 30 minutes. And do a couple backward bends just to get yourself back into that lordotic position that you've been out of for that amount of time. And also doing some chin tucks. So just sitting, shoulders back, and then pulling your chin in, not up and down, just straight back, just to get out of that forward head posture that we often assume. Our goal for posturally is we actually want your earlobe to be in line with the highest point of your shoulder. And if you just kind of monitor what people are doing, maybe don't tell them or they don't like you very much, but I'll often have patients come in, shoulder pain, what have you, and they're a full hand breadth. Their ear is in front of their shoulder where they shouldn't belong, and you end up with shear through your cervical spine. It's really not a good situation. So being aware of your posture for sure, and getting out of those postures as much as you can. Like I said, doing some lumbar extensions, to just standing, leaning back, chin tucks, even when you're sitting, doing some posterior and anterior pelvic tilts, just to get you back onto your pockets, moving into flexion, and then up onto your tailbone, moving into extension. That can really, really help break that up a bit. Sure. So Francis,
yeah, sure.
with the gym closed, the Communiplex is closed, everything is closed, what would you suggest for maintaining fitness at home?
There's a lot of ways that we can be physically active during this COVID. I know that I was the first one that I would say was affected about the gym being closed, because that was my first thing that I like to go, is going at the gym and then just work out. I was doing this like 6 to 7 times a week. So for me, when the gym closed, like every gym, it kind of like I had to readjust my lifestyle. But right now, the PSP are doing really good. A lot of online PSP session. Let me show you guys what I mean about that. I'm just going to go back to my Facebook. Here, so what you see right now, that's on the Facebook, that's the CAF Connection. So on the national level, if you go on that website, no matter where you are in Canada, you can go on that website and you will see the schedule of all the fitness session of every base right now. So there's not only 3. If you click here, there's plus 9 more or even more than that. So a lot of base right now are doing some online live PT sessions. So you can totally go on that website and click on the one that you want to follow. And it doesn't, like, it's live, but if you're not available at that time, you can always, like this podcast right now, go watch it later. So if you like a session, for example, yesterday was Rob here on this Facebook page did a PT session. If you guys liked, I can't find it, but it's going to be on our PSP Facebook page. But if you like one of the PT session that one of our PSP did, or any kind of PSP did, you can go back and redo it a couple times. It's that could be a way to be physically active during the COVID. So I think that's a really good initiative that we did. It really helps people to stay active, and there's a lot of participation right now on these sessions, because we can see how many people participate during these PT sessions. So I kind of like it. That would be my first recommendation. It's to do that. You can also go, like, right now today in 2020, you will find a lot of available PT sessions. Like on YouTube, you can just Google something like a Zumba class on YouTube, and you will find like an integral Zumba class on YouTube. You just put the screen on your counter or anywhere you work out at home, and there you go. You have your PT session that you can do at any time. Also, you can do a personal workout. So that means at home, if you do have some installation, just behind me, that's my I would say my gym. At the same time, I use my kitchen. So that's the place I work out. So you're going to see a lot of gym equipment behind me, and you can do your personal workout at home. If you don't have equipment, obviously you can use your body weight. We call this calisthenic workout. So just by doing, for example, jump squats, lunges, push-ups, chin-ups. A cool example of a chin-ups, if you don't have a chin-up bar at home, if in your basement you have some stairs that are not really finished, you can grab one of the stairs and do the chin-up there. Use your imagination, actually, because you'll see that your home can become your gym. It just depends on your intention and your creativity to do some PT sessions at home. The gym equipment, well, you can buy gym equipment if you want to. I've kind of like heard that some people are trying to buy some gym equipment. They can't find it anymore. It's that kind of popular right now. Everybody's buying some dumbbells and barbells everywhere, so it gets really really popular, and they're running low on stock. But before doing this, you can also just create your own dumbbells and create your own barbells or stuff like that. Like, for example, you grab a backpack, and then in your backpack you're just gonna fill your backpack of stuff. Could be water bottles, could be anything like cans that you have. You just fill your backpack full of stuff, and then you can adjust the weight that you want. If you want heavier or less heavy, it depends on you. You decide what you want to do with it, and then you just put it in your back, and then there you go. You have I would say weights to do some lunges or squats, or you can just grab the backpack and do some bicep curls, lateral raise. It's really up to you. Weights, it's just optional. You don't need weights to do a workout. You can do workout by increasing your heart rate. So just by doing some circuits, for example, a Tabata workout, kind of like the CrossFit workout that people like to do. These are the kind of workouts that you can do. You don't need a lot of weights to do that. You just need to do some, you choose a couple of exercises, and then you just do it in circuits, and that's going to increase your heart rate, and that's perfect. That's a good workout that you can do. Also, unfortunately, for Gatineau, I don't think, well, I think the weather will come really soon, but here in Wainwright, it's so nice outside. So that would be my first choice. Put some running shoes on and just go outside. You can go for a run, or you can go for a walk, a brisk walk, or you can just combine both. So you go for a run, walk. You run for a minute, you walk for a minute. You can do that. That could be your cardio for the day. It's so nice outside, so why not? If we did that podcast like 2 weeks ago, we still had snow, so I would say like cross-country skiing, that would be good. I know that right now people are probably afraid because of the COVID, and we're not allowed to go in public places. But we can obviously go for a walk outside. Just maintain your 2 meters distance between another person. If it's like your wife, obviously you live with that person, so you don't need to maintain that 2 meters. But if it's a person that you don't, you're not in contact usually, just be safe with that, and wash your hands when you come back home, just to make sure that you're not bringing back some new virus. I don't think, if you guys have questions about that, go ahead and leave it in the comments and we'll read it. I'll bring it up later, but I think I'm not forgetting anything. We'll see about that.
Do
what
we
about
have any questions, or? Oh, go ahead.
So far in the comments, let me go look, because right now I was on Google. Let me go back on this here. We do have some questions.
Okay, let's hear them.
There's one right here. Any tips in building special activity into your life without going to the gym or fitness classes? Yes, actually. Well, that was Trish Brown.
I think you kind of went over that. That's
Yeah.
my sister. Hi, Trish.
Oh,
I think
hello,
that
Trish.
you kind of covered that.
Oh, well, there you go. There's another question right here. Are standing desks a good thing? From Clip Schwepp. If I didn't say your name right, I'm sorry. Clint Schwepp. Let me know if I did say it properly. What do you think about that, Jen?
Want me to take that one? Okay. So, unfortunately, I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're as good as we had predicted they would be, or...
No. Okay, let's see if it's working. Can I hear you, Jen? Yeah, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Zoom cancel our meeting.
It's me out.
Well, actually, it's 40 minutes maximum, so that's why I did
So we're back now?
I think so. We're gonna wait like 15-20 seconds before people will just say in the comments that we're back. Just give us a thumbs up if you're back. Oh, I think we are back. Yeah, we are back.
We're good?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking about stand-up desks. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're as good as we'd hoped. What the research has shown, and I think also it's important to remember that a lot of this research that's out now about these sit-stand desks, it's very, like the sit-stand desk craze is a relatively new thing. So the research has been a relatively short-term pockets that they're looking at. So again, what they're saying now, they might change their mind in 5 years and say, oh no, they really are a miracle here. So the research that I've read, what it indicates is that people tend to be more comfortable in sit-stand desks. However, no significant improvements in physiological measures. Things like blood sugar, heart rate, blood pressure, weight. There doesn't tend to be as big of improvements as we had hoped when people switch to the sit stand desk. I think that the increase in metabolism when you go from sitting to standing is roughly 10%, probably a little bit less, between 8 and 10%. So it's not, whereas going from sitting to walking is an increase in like 27% or something like that. So that 10% increase in metabolism isn't enough to really show much improvement in terms of weight and that type of thing. So are they good? Yes. Are they a miracle cure? Absolutely not. And I think too, when moving to a sit-stand desk, I think it's very important to do it in a graduated fashion, not just go nuts and all of a sudden that you're standing more than you're sitting, and you're going to end up with trouble. And I think it's also important to consider what you're doing. For instance, fine motor skills, they're better done in a seated position. So if you are going to this sit-stand desk thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, certainly, but just be careful how you transition and what you're doing when you transition. But they aren't a miracle, unfortunately.
Yeah, I kind of like it also on my side, like, because we do have this at work. Mine that I have at work, it's an electronic one. You have to push a button and it's going to go put you in a standing position. What I like about it is I can vary my position during the day, or during the hour actually even. So I'm not obligated to be sitting for 8 hours at work. I can choose to stand and to sit. So I think for me, this is a really big change. Is it going to change my fitness? Is it going to improve my fitness, like you already said? No, I don't think so. But it might help my lifestyle habits. Though I'm going to be less sitting, which is the sedentary problem that we're having right now. We're always sitting. So I think that gives a choice. But
I think standing is not as good as moving, and I think some people thought, well, if I'm not sitting all the time, maybe it doesn't get you off the hook. We still need to move. And,
yeah, for sure. I know that HEC Montréal, which is a university over there, they were doing some study about that standing desk, but the study they were doing is standing desk with a treadmill under it. So the treadmill itself, you're standing, but you're walking.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously.
Situation.
Yeah, you're not going to be like running on the treadmill while reading on the computer. That's kind of like a weird situation. But if you can stand and just walk at a slow pace, that can be a different subject matter. It's not only standing, or like you're saying, it's also walking during that time. So I know that we're doing like some studies a couple of years ago, I would say, when I was in Quebec, so at least 7-8 years ago. I'm pretty sure they're still on these studies. So I can't wait till they're going to publish their studies to read about it, to see if there's a lot of improvement or more improvement by having that kind of stuff. And they're talking about also having active meeting, which is when you have a team meeting, instead of having all your team, your employees sitting around you, you can go outside for a walk and doing your meeting while walking, which is way better. You can also have a meeting set up for a stand-up meeting, so they do have desk for a stand-up meeting. You can find that on the internet. But yeah, these are the type of like I think they're going to improve into that area for sure. I'm sorry guys about what happened. Yeah, we do actually. I went on Zoom and we do have some people waiting. So actually we're going to invite people coming and joining us. Before I invite the first person, I would like just to remember, like I sent in the comment, I put in the comment the new link to join the meeting room. So if you want to join us live, you just have to click on the new link. Unfortunately, I didn't bought the pro version of Zoom, so that's why it limits our meeting at 40 minutes. But now you have the new link, so feel free to join us. And let's admit the first person. So it's going to have a delay of 15 to 20 seconds. So you're probably going to see it on your phone that you're joining us, or on your laptop. And just be aware that you might pop in. There you go, our first person. That's Gina. Can we hear you? Can you talk? I want to see if we can hear you.
I got nothing on my end.
No, me neither. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's going
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
The delay, it's probably on Facebook. Were you watching like the Facebook live podcast, or were you watching on Zoom? It could be the internet connection also. It kind of it's lagging on her side. Can you hear us clearly? We're gonna let her. Her internet
Yeah,
just
you're
went.
good now.
Okay.
Okay.
Can't see you.
Excellent.
There we go.
Yeah, it might lag a bit, but how's it going, Gina?
It's going well. Sorry, my video was a little bit. I just had to X out of the Facebook though. Hopefully,
Okay. We are.
Right now your connection is not that good. We can't really hear you in the fluent. Yeah, probably it's your Wi-Fi or.
yeah. It says my internet connection is not stable.
Ugh.
Sorry.
Well, we'll do our best with that. So right now it looks pretty good. How's it going right now with the COVID-19? How do you live your COVID-19?
So well, it's kind of erratic. I find it's different routines. I find it's huge routine disruption for me. I like it when I can work. When I'm at home, I don't know what to do with myself sometimes. But when I'm working, it's really busy. It gets me through the days really quickly. But when I'm home, I'm trying to find things to do, like go out for walks, get some fresh air. It's easier now that it's getting warmer. The snow is all melted, so that's much easier, I have to say. But yeah, it's going. We're just coping. We're managing. Yeah.
Yeah, so for people who doesn't know, Gina, she's the pharmacist on base, and your schedule is it like GM? You have to work every day, like from Monday to Friday and all that. How's your schedule look like?
So because there's decreased people on base, I find that we don't need a full pharmacy staff. So we're kind of doing rotation so that we can help with people's stress and worry over this time. So kind of taking shifts 2 weeks at a time. So this week I was in Monday to Friday. So it's a lot. It's busy. It keeps me really busy when I'm at work. So, and then the next 2 weeks, I come in to check in when I can, and so it'll be a lot. It won't be routine.
Yeah, can't wait to get back to work for myself. But yeah, so do you have a question for us?
I do. So when I was having my routine disrupted by being at home and not at work, I found it really hard to just motivate myself, get off that couch, stop watching the Netflix. And it's just like, I would set alarms, I would say, I'm going to do this, I'd be very determined. And then when it come with it, I would just be like, no, can't do it. I'm stuck to the couch. So I wonder if you had any kind of tips or tricks or something that I can employ to, win the battle.
Oh yeah, for sure. For me on my side, I would say the first thing is to implement this kind of habit into your schedule. So for example, there's some stuff that we don't really time our time spent on it. Like for example, if we have some people who are watching TV or even like gaming or something like that, they will just go watch an episode and then jump on the other one and then never stop ending this. So they're gonna end up watching like 3-4 hours of Netflix. But they will not schedule their PT session. So if before the quarantine you were always going at the gym, and I know you were always going at the gym at 3 o'clock, so if you were always scheduling the 3 o'clock in the afternoon PT session, you should schedule it at home also. So if you put in your schedule and it's like something that you cannot stop, you cannot like postpone it, it will be in your schedule and it's going to be considered as a priority, and that's going to be something that's going to help you at least to do your PT session. But I think also you were working out with your boyfriend, and he's deployed right now, so that I think that's a lifestyle that military will always face, because it's not a reality of COVID, it's a reality of military. When your spouse is sent to a mission or something like that, they're away, and he was your partner, it's always like to find other partners, other friends, and right now with the COVID we can't really even see our friends. But one thing could be a Facetiming workout. I don't know. I'm just like sending some ideas. Having a person, yeah, why not? Or even like some people would love to do the unit PT with the PSP. Well, right now the PSP are online right now, are on Facebook, and they are providing live sessions. So the live session could be a priority for you. You're like, oh, I'm not going to postpone or watch it later. I'm going to do it live with them and comment what Jessica did today. I like it. Or Caitlin. That could be something that is a priority on your schedule. What do you think, Gian?
No, I agree. I think also, like, just even having an accountability partner and someone, you might not be able to work out with a friend, but you can check in and say, hey, what did you do today? You know, it kind of keeps you a little bit honest. I think too, picking something you like. I remember talking to a fitness instructor once, you know, and someone had asked her, what's the best type of cardio I can do? And she said, it's the type you will do. So, you know, choosing something that's not a burden to do and you don't dread it or whatever, even, you know, and even incorporating your day-to-day stuff you have to get done, whether it's yard work or what have you. And I think also breaking things into manageable chunks. I think a lot of us can be very all or nothing. And sometimes getting out and doing something for 20 minutes, you know, you'll do it, as opposed to I'm going to do this for an hour, and it's just too much. And if you're feeling lethargic and feeling tired, I think also too, we're talking a lot, you know, you see on Facebook and memes and whatever about, you know, be kind to each other, and that's certainly very important, but I think we also need to show ourselves some grace, and these are very abnormal circumstances where, you know, and I think sometimes, I'm not saying that we should do nothing and be, you know, lethargic, lazy, useless people, but on the other hand, I think, you know, show yourself some grace and just, you know, be kind in terms of what your expectations are for yourself, and maybe that'll make things a little less daunting. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'm certainly not in any position to be motivating other people, so, you know.
I like both of your guys' tips.
One of the good thing that you brought up, Gian, is more the fun part. It's so important to have fun when you're working out. So if you guys are like enjoying a fitness or a physical activity that you like to do, for example, you like to do a group class fitness, well, you're going to be more. It's going to be more likely that you're going to redo it because you enjoyed your last PT session because it was a Zumba class, for example, and you like Zumba, you like dancing. So do the thing that you like to do. Don't force yourself into a PT session that you're not enjoying. There is so many different type of fitness or physical activity in this world that it's impossible that you won't find something that you like to do. There's so many things. So, and I know that you have two beautiful dogs, Gina. So these could be your training workout, like just going outside for a walk. Walking your dog is a good thing. Fetching the ball with your dogs, running after your dog, stuff like that can be your training type. The main thing, like you said, Gian, is to have fun. And if you do have fun during your PT session, you will most likely prioritize it, put it in your schedule. You will not postpone it because you love it. You like that stuff. So you're like, oh, I like it. It's the same thing as when you watch a Netflix program. You're like, oh, I like the last episode. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next one. Well, you like it, so you're going to watch it. So it's the same thing for fitness. Oh, yeah, for sure. So you're at work right now?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Like, lots of good tips. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks. All right, we do have other people, so let's see. And we're gonna accept Chloe. There you go. Hello! So Chloe, we're waiting about on your audio, so it's just connecting right now. We're getting there. Not there yet. Did you click on the bottom left of your screen? You should see unmute. Oh, there you go. Oh no, that's your camera. Now you're muted. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
I think I heard you. Can you talk?
Oh dear.
All right. No. Oh, we're good.
Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah,
parfait.
Yeah, Chloe, you're French, so you can speak in French. I'll translate to Gian and to all the listening. Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien.
Ça va
Dans
bien?
le fond, c'est ça, j'avais deux questions pour vous. Fait que la première. Hop. Mais c'est ça, fait que la première, je me demandais parce que, tu sais, maintenant j'aimerais ça me faire un gym maison, mais j'ai pas nécessairement un gros budget. Fait que c'est quoi que vous me conseillez pour ça?
So actually what Chloe is asking right now is she would like to build up a gym at home, but she doesn't have a really big budget. So what would be your recommendation on it? Je vais la répondre. I'm going to answer her in French and try and translate it in English right after. La première chose que je recommanderais pour la maison, si on n'a pas beaucoup de budget, ça serait... Je vais bouger ma caméra pour vous le montrer. Ça serait des ballons suisses. Okay. So, ces ballons-là sont vraiment pas chers. Celui-là ici, il y a... Là, je vais le bouger avec la caméra. Je ne vais pas faire ça. Là. Mais celui-là ici, il y a du sable dedans. Mais il y en a qui n'ont pas de sable dedans. Puis, on peut aussi se l'acheter un avec pas de sable, puis en mettre dedans. Hein, c'est pas vraiment compliqué. Puis des TheraBand. C'est des élastiques qui sont... TheraBand, c'est une marque. Ça, ce serait les deux premiers équipements que je conseillerais. Les TheraBand, ça, c'est une marque en soi, mais on peut acheter n'importe quelle sorte d'élastique de n'importe quelle compagnie. Moi, mon conseil, ce serait de dire ça, que ces deux matériels-là sont les moins chers. Je dirais, un ballon suisse, tu peux trouver ça au Walmart facilement. Puis, c'est environ 5 à 10 $. Puis, les TheraBand, c'est maximum un gros 20-30 $ pour un ensemble de TheraBand. Puis, l'avantage de ça, c'est quand tu fais ton entraînement, les TheraBand vont remplacer toutes les dumbbells puis les barbells, les poids haltères qu'on a, parce que plus on tire dessus, plus la résistance augmente. Donc, on est capable d'avoir un entraînement juste avec des élastiques. Puis, les ballons suisses, ben, ça l'aide. On peut faire plein d'exercices là-dessus qu'on connaît déjà. Fait que ce serait les deux premiers équipements que je conseillerais. Je vais voir si Gian en a d'autres, elle. So, my recommendation that I said to her was to buy some Swiss ball and some TheraBands, because these two equipment are so cheap that you can find it almost everywhere now. You can buy online, and I would say at maximum, with all the combination of TheraBands and Swiss ball, I would say probably $40-50. That would be your maximum spending money on it. And you can do everything with this. With the TheraBand, it replaces all the dumbbells, the barbells that you have at home. And the Swiss ball, you can do a lot of exercise on it, like unstable exercise, and cardio and squats and stuff like that. So that would be the two first equipment that you could buy at home, and it doesn't really cost a lot. You're just saving all the rest that, on the dumbbells and the barbells that you want to buy. Do you have anything else that you would recommend?
No, I think you're going to do an awful lot with a pair of running shoes and a yoga mat. You know, like just keep it simple. And I mean, this is temporary, we hope. You know, hopefully we're back rolling soon. So, yeah, I think your recommendations are good. Keep it simple and yeah.
Est-ce que ça répond à ta question, Chloé?
Oui, ça répond totalement à ma première question. Puis ma deuxième question, c'est est-ce que vous croyez qu'il va y avoir une diminution, genre, des blessures durant la quarantaine? Alors, ça va être quoi l'impact?
So she's asking, what's her thought about the injury rates right now that it might go down with the quarantine. So what would be your thought about that?
I think that we're going to see, like, and already are seeing, a significant decrease in like the big injuries, the macro trauma stuff. People obviously on the base, we're not training people right now, and team sports are shut down, what have you. So the big injuries, people aren't rupturing ligaments, they're not tearing things. I think though we're going to see a trade-off. I actually saw on Facebook yesterday that a friend of mine has a crocheting related injury. So I think we're going to see a lot of more of this repetitive stress stuff, specifically upper extremity, whether it's from gaming or keyboarding or crocheting. For sure, I think we'll see more of that. I also think when this is all over, we're going to have a big influx of issues. Our bodies adapt to stress by making our tissues stronger. And when people have been very inactive for this period, and then they think that they're just going to jump right back into whether it's military training or athletic training or what have you, we're going to see a lot of people hurt if they haven't maintained their fitness over this period. So I think, yes, there's going to be a bit of a change in what goes on during this time, but after it's all said and done, I think it's going to be all hands on deck, because I think there's going to be a lot of problems.
In French would be, ouais, comme elle a mentionné, probablement que là, en ce moment, là, il va y avoir une diminution de blessures qu'on va voir en ce moment avec la clinique sur la base ou même en ville. Mais c'est juste un effet de temps, vu que les gens vont probablement plus se blesser en revenant à leurs habitudes après au travail. Il va y avoir d'autres nouvelles blessures aussi qui vont se créer, parce qu'on fait des affaires de façon répétitive en ce moment, comme gamer un peu trop. Donc on a une posture, comme on a mentionné au début du podcast, qui va être un petit peu mauvaise, puis on va être en train de gamer de façon sur des longues périodes. Donc ça va créer des nouvelles blessures aussi que on n'aura peut-être pas vu avant, vu qu'on n'en faisait pas autant. Est-ce que ça répond à ta question, ça?
Oui, ça répond totalement à mes deux questions. Merci beaucoup.
Il y aurait juste un commentaire pour. Je vais retourner en anglais juste pour l'expliquer. So for the people who doesn't know Chloe, she's an MP on base, a military police. So I do have a question for her though. One of the questions would be really interesting. Would be like right now, your reality as a police officer on base. Here in Wainwright, we do have like some service like the Connex, which is like inside the base, and the gym, which is inside the base. Some base in Canada, the Connex and the gym is outside of the base. What's the reality of police officers on base? Because we're kind of like blocking the entrance, and people might have that kind of question, like, can I go on base just to go see my friend, or can I go on base just to go to Connex, or can I go on base, period?
Okay.
Tu peux répondre en français si tu veux.
Ok, je peux faire en français. C'est juste que s'il n'y a aucun working purposes et s'ils ne vivent pas sur la base, ils n'ont juste totalement pas accès à la base, parce qu'on essaie vraiment de limiter la circulation sur la base. De toute façon, le gym, il est fermé. Le Canex, c'est sûr que si vous avez déjà affaire sur la base, vous pouvez comme y aller, c'est sûr, mais vous ne pouvez pas genre juste rentrer sur la base pour aller au Canex ou aller voir vos amis, ou même juste donner un lift à vos amis. Simplement, il va falloir qu'ils marchent jusqu'à la front gate, parce qu'on essaie vraiment de limiter la circulation sur la base.
So actually what she said is, if you don't have to be on base, you don't have to go on base. So don't go on base. They're going to block you at the entrance. So for example, if you have to go pick up your friends, they won't allow you to go in, because first of all, you're not supposed to go see your friends. And if you have to like go on base, it's for like work related, or even like the mechanics. I would say to limit your displacement or probably not being blocked at the front gate, I would say buy online. That one thing that you can do with the mechanics. But yeah, that's a good clarification. Thanks for that, Chloe.
You're welcome.
If you guys like her answer, thumbs up. In the comment, we'll see what they're gonna say about that. All right, thanks, Chloe. We're gonna jump with our other person. So I'm gonna kick you out. Sorry about that, Chloe. Bye bye. And we do have Gab. There you go. Gab, no, his audio is connected, but your video is not connected. And there you go. Well, hello, Gab.
Hi.
How's it going? Sorry, repeat that, please.
Awesome podcast, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's good to have that kind of feedback.
Yeah, there was a lot of helpful trick or tips and a lot of questions. That's good. I still have maybe one question who was not really talked about. Because you answered some of my questions previously. But do you have any stretching tip maybe you can give, or especially in pointing?
Stretching tip? Only stretching, or you would like to have like... Oh yeah, for stretching tip?
Yeah, stretching, because we sit a lot, we don't move a lot, and it's not, I don't know, do we have any stretching for the lower back or stuff like that?
Gian, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, we do. That'd probably be something that I can definitely send to you, like some stuff about like pictures and whatnot. I'm not really in a position to start flailing about doing this stuff, but I can send some stuff out via email if you're interested or whatever. Yeah, sure.
There's also, like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, like when you're sitting for a long period of time, she was recommending like you standing and do the opposite posture that you had. So if I go on my side, if I sit for a long period of time, that will be my back right now, and my chin will be forward. So if I just stand up and just stretch my back, stretch my arms, I would say a couple times an hour, that would be probably what Gian was saying. That would be helping you to just have a better posture when you're sitting. But also we want us to prevent to go in that posture when we're sitting and doing some stuff. So hyperextension on the other side, on the opposite side that you were going, as a stretching, that would be good. And actually I just did it, and I felt good. That felt good actually.
There you go.
So see, that's a good tip.
And my email address should be on the thing, so if there's anyone that has any specific like exercise stuff or whatever they want me to send out to them, I can do that via email. Just email me and we'll go from there. Yeah.
So what kind of workout are you doing? Because I can see something on your door behind you. Are you doing some PT session at home?
Right now I'm trying to change my workout every day, because it's not, I don't have like, it's hard to have the motivation to do stuff. But I already had a TRX, kind of suspension training system. I can show you quickly how it works.
Yeah, sure.
I think I bought it like the brand TRX, but I think I bought it maybe $50 on Amazon, so it's kind of not so expensive. And you can put it like, do you see it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you can technically put it everywhere. You can go outside. You can put it like on a tree or anything, or even just on a door. Basically, it's just like something. I don't know how to call that.
It's like an handle that you can put on the other side.
Yeah, it's like an handle. You just like put it on the other side of the door, and make sure the door open like the other way, so you don't break your door. And basically you have some handle on it. You can pretty much improvise and do anything. It's really great for like push up, or you can put it like on your foot. I like just to do push up like that.
Oh, there you go.
You can pretty much do anything, or you can do squat or one leg squat. So
yeah,
it's pretty useful.
Yeah, these piston squats. Yeah, that's a pretty fun equipment that you can buy at home, since there's not much. It's not really expensive. And I saw also your chin-up bar that you can put on the on the door.
I did some rock march. It's crazy, like you said, you just add some weight in the back. or I went to the garage not so far and asked if they had like a tractor tire, and they gave me a big tire that I can flip or hit with a mass or whatever. So for me, I found like improvisation from things the best.
Good.
Yeah, I know that another person that I know, he has a big land, and right now he's chopping woods, and that is a PT session. Like, if you guys never chop wood, I dare you, or I recommend you guys to go try that, because you'll see it's a really good PT session. So anything in the woods, that's good too. Going for a hiking, why not? That's a good solution.
And I had another question that just popped up. We thought about like sitting a lot, and if we have like to sit on a desk or whatever. But like you said, most of us we just game or watch Netflix during this quarantine. And there's like some not a standing chair like you said, but it was popular not so long ago. It was like to sit on a big balloon or a Swiss ball or whatever.
Yeah.
What's your thought on it?
The research actually doesn't support it. It doesn't. I think the unfortunate thing is you can sit slumped just as well on a ball as you can on a chair. And yeah, again, it seems like a great idea, and I'd love to be able to say, sure, it's awesome. But the research that has been done on it doesn't show that it actually has much benefit. So yeah. Sorry, I'm just a killjoy over here. Yeah.
Well, one thing I would say is if you do have that Swiss ball and then you do have a chair and then you do use the stand up, like, it gives you choices.
Yeah, change it up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that it brings, but it's not a miracle. It's not going to save anything about your posture, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Gab. Thanks for having to come on Zoom for us. See you next time.
Interesting.
See ya. All right, so yeah, that was the last person that we had on the waiting list, so that's pretty nice. And also, I just received another message of Zoom that we have less than 3 minutes before it shut down. So I think that's a good timing to say thank you all. If you guys have any questions, obviously send it to us or leave it in the comment below. We'll try to answer all your questions. I hope that was a really good podcast, and I would consider this podcast like our real first podcast. It looks like that. So if you guys are interested into the next one, just make sure that you download the Zoom application and you just click on the link, and we're going to try to make sure that we're going to have you in the next podcast for answering your questions and see how you guys are feeling and doing right now with that quarantine period. So I hope you guys have a good day and have a good week. Any last words, Jan?
If we have any topic suggestions, things that you're interested in hearing about, so we're not boring you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll try to come up with a topic for early next week.
So yeah, feel free to send your comments, your recommendation for the next podcast, and it's going to be we're going to be more than happy. Any kind of health professional that you guys would like to have on this podcast to have. Today we were pretty lucky. We had a police officer and a pharmacist. I think we're lucky because we could use these kind of health professional. So if you do have any recommendation, guys, feel free to just send it to us, and we'll make sure to make it happen. So on that note, I wish you a best week, Gian, and I'll see you next week.
You bet. Thank you.
And same for all of you guys. Okay, bye.